Manchester City, Pep Guardiola's side, winning a fourth successive Premier League title, books their place in the annual season curtain raiser. The team that beat them in the FA Cup final, Manchester United, today's opponents. Victory in that game, of course, playing a major role in keeping Erik ten Hag in a job at Old Trafford. And as the campaign gets underway, this title will be claimed by either the red or blue half of Manchester today. Plenty of points to be proven by both sets of players. Kick-off here at Wembley Stadium just a few minutes away as Pep Guardiola and Erik ten Hag prepare to do battle in a game which signed off from last season and kicks off the brand new campaign. Before we get underway, we can just whip through some team news. Pep Guardiola going with a mix of experience and youth in his starting lineup as he looks to build on their pre-season tour of the United States. Edison Moraes in goal, Rico Lewis, Manuel Akanji, Ruben Diaz and Josko Vardiol in defence. Mateo Kovacic anchors the midfield alongside the slightly unfamiliar duo of Nico O'Reilly and James McAtee. Oscar Bobb, Jeremy Doku and the always potent Erling Haaland fill the attack for City. As for Manchester United, more of a familiar look to their team, but again plenty of players looking to stake their claim for a Premier League spot this season. Andre Onana in goal, Diogo Dalot, Johnny Evans, Harry Maguire and Lisandro Martinez back, of course, from winning the Copa America, starts in defence. Casemiro alongside Kobe Mainoo in midfield. Ahmed Diallo, Mason Mount, Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford complete the starting 11 for the Red Devils. Plenty to be excited about today, of course, the first game of the season. And depending on your view of the Community Shield, whether you count this as a competitive or a non-competitive game, it is always nice to get a little barometer of how the campaign is expected to get appearances in the Community Shield. They've won, and that includes a 2011 victory over Manchester City. Polar opposite, of course, for Pep Guardiola. They've lost 3 in a row in this game, losing out to Leicester, Liverpool and Arsenal, with 2 titles for Pep, beating Chelsea back in 2018 and a penalty shootout victory against Liverpool all the way back in 2019. Just to catch you all up on some pre-season form as well, it's been a trip across the Atlantic for Ten Hag and Pep Guardiola. A bit of a mixed bag for both of them. Just 2 wins from 5 for United. They signed off on that tour with a 3-0 defeat to Premier League rivals Arsenal. Manchester City slightly more positive, 3 defeats, losing to Celtic, AC Milan and Barcelona. But they ended the tour with a 4-2 victory against Chelsea, with both sides looking to get themselves all set for the Premier League campaign. That all gets underway next weekend. It is Manchester United to get the ball rolling. Friday night kickoff against Fulham. That's an 8 PM start for UK fans. And that game and every Premier League match this season will be available here on Flash Score. Live audio coverage of every English top flight game. Manchester City have to wait until Sunday the have to wait until Sunday the 18th to get themselves underway. They take on Chelsea in a 4:30 PM kickoff away at Stamford Bridge. And as we await kickoff here, the match official Jared Gile just undergoing a few last-minute checks. He's been a last-minute adjustment himself. An injury to John Brooks meant a promotion for Gile. He was originally down as the 4th official for this game, but he is now the man in charge. Adrian Holmes and Nick Greenlaw are his assistants. Sam Barrett is now the 4th official, and we do have VAR here today at Wembley. Peter Barnes and Sean Massey Ellis will be on duty for the technology bods. On the substitutes bench, quite an interesting mix of players for both teams. Manchester City, Calvin Phillips, Nathan Ake, Kevin De Bruyne, Stefan Ortega, Bernardo Silva. Summer signings Savinho, Matheus Nunes, Scott Carson and Isep Kabor. As for Manchester United, Altay Binyar. Summer signing Joshua Zirkzee, Christian Eriksen, Alejandro Garnacho, Anthony, Jadon Sancho, Facundo Pellistri, Scott McTominay and Toby Collier. And it is going to be Manchester United that get us underway here, kicking from right to left in their traditional all red, or I should say red shirts, black shorts and black socks. Manchester City also in their more traditional attire, sky blue and white. Possession even quickly given away by Manchester United. That long ball forward makes its way to Ederson. He'll go for the long clearance deep into Manchester United territory, but it's well dealt with by the experienced figure of Casemiro there at the base of the Manchester United midfield. Amad Diallo just stepping back inside his own half down the United right hand side. He's forced backwards to Jonny Evans. Goes into Harry Maguire, and Jonny Evans will just try and loft that one forward towards the halfway line, but Rico Lewis in the right back spot for Manchester City gets there just before Marcus Rashford. Mambala Kanji goes for safety back to his goalkeeper Edison Moraes. We've already seen a couple of positional tweaks from both teams. Rico Lewis has started at right back for Manchester City, but he's advanced when they're in possession. Josko Gvardiol will tuck in on the opposite flank. As for Manchester United, plenty of fluidity in behind Marcus Rashford. Bruno Fernandes and Mason Mount will be looking to rotate in those central positions to try and provide a different threat for this Manchester City defence. It's Andre Onana back in possession inside his own 18-yard box for Manchester United. It's been a pretty solid pre-season for the Cameroonian international, as he looks to begin his second season in between the posts at Old Trafford, and a good few players in this Manchester United team who've had a relatively quiet summer. Marcus Rashford, of course, omitted from the England squad for Euro 2024. No international duty for Harry Maguire either. Casemiro's had a break. He wasn't called up for the Copa America with Brazil. Here's Casemiro again, just looking to pick possession up centrally, deep inside his own half from Evans and Maguire. Sandro Martinez already pushed up high from his left back position, slotting in there after an injury disrupted end to the domestic season. He was fit enough, of course, for Argentina duty, but he's back in club action now. Here is Onana. Quiet start from both teams here, looking to just get themselves a foothold in the game. Jonny Evans and Harry Maguire have seen more of the ball than anybody so far. Here is Maguire again, back on the edge of his own box. He forced backwards there by the hustle and bustle of James McAtee. Plenty to be excited about in this Manchester City lineup. There's a couple of names that might not be immediately familiar. Rico Lewis and Oscar Bobb, of course, have established themselves in Pep Guardiola's first team plans. James McAtee, back from 2 seasons away on loan at Sheffield United. Their relegation meant that he requested to rejoin City and have another crack at Premier League football. But the big point of interest is Nico O'Reilly, 19-year-old academy graduate. This is his senior competitive debut for City. Been ever present during pre-season, started all 4 games. It's been mirrored by McAtee, Bobb and of course Erling Haaland. Another player on that list of no international duty this summer. Norway not qualifying for Euro 2024, so he's been rested, so he can be back to full power for Manchester City. Here is Rico Lewis, just steps over the halfway line from the right back position for Manchester City, forced in field though by Marcus Rashford. Rashford happy to drift out into that left hand side attacking position to let Fernandes and Mason Mount operate centrally when needed. It's a good switch over to the left to Jeremy Doku, midway inside the Manchester United half of the field. Good work there off the ball from Manchester United, and Amad Diallo did well just to force an error from Manchester City, but the ball forward cut out by Josko Gvardiol. Here's Mateo Kovacic, just on the edge of the centre circle inside the Manchester City half of the field. Comes to this near right hand side on the halfway line for Oscar Bobb. Long switch forward for City, from right to left, looking to bring Jeremy Doku into the game on the touchline, but that's a loose bit of control from him. Belgium giving away possession, but Amad Diallo can't keep it in play. He'll throw in to Manchester City on the left hand side, just inside the United half of the field, in front of Messrs Guardiola and Ten Hag. Two very different styles for the managers today. Eric Ten Hag suited and booted, Pep Guardiola wearing something befitting what is a very hot and humid day here in the capital. Both of them out on the edge of the technical areas, barking instructions at their team. And Nico O'Reilly's been chased inside the centre circle there by Kobbie Mainoo. Last season was, of course, a breakthrough campaign for him at Old Trafford. O'Reilly will be hoping for similar at Manchester City if he is afforded an opportunity this season. It's a crowded area of the squad for Pep Guardiola, but he's received plenty of praise in pre-season from the City fans who travelled to America and from Guardiola himself. He's ready for the challenge of being a first-team player. Exactly how regular that will mean is obviously still to be decided. Here's Gvardiol, forward from left-back, just inside the Manchester United half. Again, good pressure there out wide. This time from Mason Mount. Referee Jarigi, they go for a foul on halfway. Mount just a little bit too keen to win back possession there. It's a free kick to City. Here's Manuel Akanji. Just plays that square into the Manchester United half. Rico Lewis stepping in off that right-hand touchline, but he's squeezed immediately by Mainoo and Rashford. City looking to peel a bit of possession though and switch it over to the far left-hand side. Doku will stretch on towards the 18-yard box, tries to go one-on-one with Diallo, gets past him, but Diallo did really well to recover there. Gets back, wins possession, but it's a poor ball forward. He tried to spring Marcus Rashford in behind, and Lewis just can't find Doku with the return ball. The City players were pleading for a throw-in in their favour there, but it goes in the opposite direction. Diogo Diallo will come forward to take. Interesting to see if either Guardiola or Erik ten Hag will make any further moves in the summer transfer window. It's been some rough luck for Erik ten Hag. The signing of Lenny Yoro, of course, from Lille back in July. He's expected to be sidelined through injury until at least the end of October, but City have done well there to build some possession on the edge of the box. Good smart defending there from Johnny Evans as Haaland tried to slip it off to rampaging Nico O'Reilly. Bruno Fernandes tried to play that through the lines on halfway, but Mateo Kovacic gets there first. Harry Maguire will go long this time, trying to release Marcus Rashford in down that left channel for Manchester United, but it's poor touch from the Manchester United number 10. He'll throw in to City, just level with their own 18-yard line. Rico Lewis takes it quickly to Manuel Akanji. Just switching back to that transfer news, Lenny Yoro out injured. Joshua Zirkzee is on the bench for United today. Possibly could see a competitive debut from him in this game. Pep Guardiola has confirmed that Julian Alvarez is on the verge of a move to Atletico Madrid in the coming days. The Argentinian looking for a new challenge away from Manchester. There was the opportunity for a possible replacement being signed. Rico Lewis tries to burst into the box there, just got the wrong side of Marcus Rashford, and Rashford forced to concede the first corner of the game. Good work there from Rico Lewis, raiding forward from right back, and credit to Rashford as well. He went all the way with the Manchester City right back. There'll be a corner on this near right hand side. Oscar Bobb will loft in left footed. Here comes the delivery from Bobb, goes deep. It's headed up and behind by Casemiro. Be another corner to Manchester City. Test that for the United defence. Casemiro stuck to his task, tracked that near post run of Josko Gvardiol at the expense of a corner. Plenty of capability inside that 6-yard box for City. Gvardiol, Diaz, Haaland, as Bobb tries again, deep this time. Maguire gets the touch, headed down by Diallo and headed away by Johnny Evans. Diallo will race over that far right hand side for United, does well to win it from Rico Lewis and holds his hands up in frustration there as the free kick is given against him. He's careered into the back of Rico Lewis and had an arm round his neck as he tried to maybe spring a counter attack for United. 10 minutes gone here at Wembley Stadium. We're yet to really crackle into life in this Manchester derby. A rerun, of course, of the final game of the 2023-24 season. Manchester United, the somewhat surprise FA Cup champions that day. Erik ten Hag given a stay of execution by the Manchester United hierarchy. He is still in charge here And there's the potential for an early piece of silverware if he can repeat the trick today. Such an impressive performance from United that day, full of verve and vigour. Manchester City, who'd already claimed the Premier League title, a little off colour as they tried to make it another domestic double. Winning the treble, of course, back in 2023, first ever UEFA Champions League title for Pep Guardiola in Manchester. It was 2 first-half goals that did the damage for United. Alejandro Garnacho and Mainu. Will we see a breakthrough before the break here today? A short goal kick there taken by Onana. Not sure if Johnny Evans wanted that inside his own box, and he's pressured there and he's forced to concede a corner. Really good work from Nico O'Reilly. Put the squeeze on the veteran Northern Ireland international. Corner is taken quickly this time. It's going to be O'Reilly to loft in the short ball, headed away by Manchester United. Picked up on that left hand side by Josko Gvardiol, but he's forced to pass it back into the centre circle for Rico Lewis, the final man back there for Manchester City. Here comes Bobb, just steps in off that right wing, does brilliantly to get away from Marcus Rashford. He's got a chance to step on into the box here, squares it across the line to O'Reilly. Just ran into a bit of traffic there. Casemiro did well to get a foot in, but O'Reilly tenacious again, good feet from him there to win back possession. Manchester City looking to turn the screw a little here. James McAtee, who's just drifted out onto this near right hand side, backed up by Oscar Bobb. Now Manuel Akanji. Everybody but Edison packed into the Manchester United half of the field here as McAtee goes one-on-one with Lisandro Martinez just past the 18-yard line on the Manchester City right. Tries to curl that one in towards the far post, but it'll drift wider behind for a goal kick to Manchester United. Andre Onana just with a word of calmness to the defenders in front of him. Gives us an opportunity for me to give a stat that I was dying to there, as that chance was missed by Manchester City. 19-year-old Nico O'Reilly against 36-year-old Johnny Evans. A mismatch, if ever you've heard one, in terms of age, but Johnny Evans is still in Erik ten Hag's Premier League plans, certainly for this season at least. A bit of a mix-up here in that goal kick. Onana leaving Harry Maguire to duties, and Maguire not quite on the same page as his goalkeeper, and Onana takes it over. Short into the feet of Mainu, but he's immediately pressured there by Manuel Akanji. Be a throw in to United midway inside their own half. Lisandro Martinez will come forward down this left-hand side to take. They've been boxed in the last few minutes, Manchester United. The threat on the break of Rashford and Diallo has been nullified for the moment as Martinez is forced to go back to his goalkeeper. Haaland and Maguire involved in an ugly coming together there. It's an accidental collision on the face of it. Haaland just tried to twist away from Maguire. Just crashed straight into the England international. 25 yards from goal down the Manchester City right. It's Maguire certainly who's come off worse there. Haaland perfectly entitled to spin and try and run into that gap. Doesn't seem to be any significant damage to Maguire. He's back on his feet. Certainly not a pleasurable experience, I'm sure. A towering figure of Erling Haaland careering into you unexpectedly, but it's occupational hazard for Premier League centre-backs. Maguire knows that all too well. Erling Haaland, certainly in terms of previous meetings, has enjoyed his clashes with Manchester United. It's been an incredible first 2 seasons for him in English football, and continues to endear himself to the Manchester City faithful, particularly with the amount of goals he scored against Manchester United. Just looking at last season alone, he didn't score in the FA Cup final. He scored 3 in 2 in the Premier League. And then, of course, going back to the previous season, apologies Manchester United fans, that 6-3 win at the Etihad Stadium. A hat-trick for him and a hat-trick for Phil Foden. No Phil Foden today, though. He's still benefiting from that extended post-Euro 2024 break. It's good little aerial challenge won there by Oscar Bobb inside the centre circle, nods it backwards to Manuel Akanji. Nico Lewis squares it infield from right back, and Manuel Akanji will go all the way back to his goalkeeper Ederson. Manchester United know they need to get a bit of a handle here on City. Pep Guardiola's team are able to build up a head of steam. They are pretty much unstoppable. United need a little bit more control in their play. Here is Harry Maguire, recovered from that collision with Erling Haaland. Switches it to this near side. Lisandro Martinez just steps over the halfway line from left back for United. It's forced backwards by Bobb to Evans. And Casemiro, who's happy to slot in as a third centre back when United have the ball. Martinez and Diallo looking to career up the pitch from right back and left back. Nana will go long again, looking for the burst in behind of Bruno Fernandes. That false number 9 position that he has played for Erik ten Hag on occasion is a clear route for Onana this afternoon. A foul on the halfway line there as Jeremy Doku just tried to dip inside Diogo Dalot. No card given, just a stern word from Jared Gillet to the Manchester United right back. City looking to get on with this quickly, switch from left to right, and Rico Lewis will raid forward down this near touchline into the Manchester United final third, but it's good tracking there from Martinez, and he goes all the way back to Manuel Akanji. Switched over to that left side, lovely bit of skill there from Jeremy Doku to get away from Diallo. Can he find the ball across the box? On into the area, past Harry Maguire to the byline, cut back, and Nico O'Reilly just couldn't stoop low enough to head that one goalwards. Brilliant stuff from Jeremy Doku out wide. Skinned past Diogo Dalot. Harry Maguire wasn't able to match his dancing feet, and the dink back onto the 6-yard line looked tailor-made for Nico O'Reilly. He just dipped at the wrong moment as he tried to make contact with that one. With 18 minutes on the clock, that is the closest we've come to a breakthrough here. And it was all about the Belgian. Too much pace for Diallo and for Maguire. Big opening for O'Reilly. City will come again down this left-hand side. Doku initially loses the ball, but James McAtee does well to win it back. He's been caught there by Casemiro. Referee waves play on for now. That might get revisited. That was an ugly challenge there from Casemiro on the returning Manchester City midfielder. Little ball in behind there to try and free Oscar Bobb is a touch too heavy, and it will drift behind for a Manchester United goal kick. We've just been shown a little replay of that run from Doku through the legs of Diallo past Maguire. Just tried to steer it back to Nico O'Reilly. Kobe Mainu may have just got a slight touch on that one as it looked to land on the head of O'Reilly. But a warning for Manchester United nonetheless. Haaland there just chasing down over on that far right hand side. Harry Maguire attempting the long raking pass out. Just as City's number 9 doing his defensive duty. He'll be one of those names that will start the first Premier League game of the season against Chelsea. There's a couple of names that you'd anticipate will be joining him: Ruben Diaz, Manuel Akanji, Ederson, Josko Gvardiol. But fascinating to see what sort of a role McAtee and O'Reilly will play for Guardiola this season. Mentioned Phil Foden there, who's had a busy summer with England. There's Kevin De Bruyne, who is on the bench today, away with Belgium at Euro 2024. Bernardo Silva, Rodri not involved. Went all the way to glory, of course, with Spain in the European Championship. So the door has been left ajar for McAtee, O'Reilly, and one or two others to potentially push their case. Issa Kabor, who's on the bench today for City, the 23-24 campaigner on loan at Luton Town, showed some impressive performances for the Hatters. Here is McAtee, floating over to that left-hand side, goes all the way to the 18-yard line, but he's forced inside to Doku. Come over to this near right-hand side now, still 25-30 yards from goal. Lewis, now O'Reilly, he's been heavily involved. Nico O'Reilly looking to pop up in them pockets in between the Red's midfield and Red's defence, they've not really been able to get a grip on him. Casemiro and Kobe Mainoo. Now, another little raid forward here from Rico Lewis. He's on into the box, bit of space to race into. Cross is deflected, falls for Haaland. Can he hook it back across goal? He can. Diallo is there to smash it away. Anywhere will do for United. There's going to be a throw in here on this near right hand side. That was a half chance for Haaland. Rico Lewis just saw that space that he could raid into. Kobe Mainoo wasn't able to cover the run. Johnny Evans tried to get across to make the challenge. Andre Onana channeling his inner Peter Schmeichel there to put off Haaland, and he probably did just enough to ensure that he couldn't curl that one back across goal. Diogo Dalot there to complete the job for Manchester United. Quarter of the game gone here on Flashscore UK Community Shield at Wembley Stadium, and it is Manchester City 0, Manchester United 1. Kovacic looking to thread that one through the lines to Oscar Bobb. He'll go on into the box past Lisandro Martinez. Bobb with the curler, and is wild off target. Good feet there from the Manchester City right winger. Just saw a little chink of light that he could curl that one into. On the far side of Andre Onana's goal, there was bodies flying in his way from a Manchester United perspective. Just couldn't quite get the whip on it that he wanted. Pep Guardiola. A big round of applause for the Norwegian. Manchester City are banging on the Wembley door here. Maguire, Evans and Martinez, Rodri, as it stands, just about keeping them at arm's length.
Rodri,
the goal kick taken short, and another ineffectual one for Manchester United. Eventually Maguire just smashes that one downfield, but it's lost by Bruno Fernandes. The space here for City to attack through the centre. O'Reilly tries to free Haaland. Just a bit too much on that from the teenager, and Haaland sticks a hand up in recognition. That was good quick thinking from the number 75 in the City engine room. Any squad number nerds amongst us today will be loving or bemused, depending on your position, by the selection from Pep Guardiola. 75 for O'Reilly, 87 for McAtee, 52 for Bobb, and 82 for Rico Lewis. Something of a maths examination. Bit of possession here for Manchester United. The goal kick this time sent up towards the halfway line, and United do manage to maintain possession, but they're forced back to the edge of their own 18-yard box with Martinez. He's got space to trot forward here, the Argentinian, but that ball is immediately cut out by Oscar Bobb. Tigerish stuff there from the City forward, and City will try and put the squeeze on Martinez here. Haaland will go across, it's given away. There's a chance in the box here for James McAtee. Off the post from McAtee. Another huge let off for Manchester United. All of their own undoing there as Lisandro Martinez tried to play his way out on the edge of the box. Bobb with the initial press, it was quickly recycled into McAtee. There was space to curl one, no chance for Onana, and off the post for City, and so close for James McAtee. Manchester United here living on their nerves. The United fans in behind Onana's goal. Some of the faces thought that was curling into the bottom corner as McAtee wound up. And that is another massive chance going a-begging for Manchester City. Vardiol with the long ball forward down the left to release Doku in behind. The space in for the box here for him now. He's tracked by Harry Maguire. Diogo Dalot there doubles up to complete the clearance, but again it's lost by United. Casemiro goes to ground, and he's relieved to see Jaragile blow the whistle there. And that again just eases the pressure ever so slightly for Manchester United, but that was all of their own making there. Poor from Martinez twice as he gave the ball up to Oscar Bobb. James McAtee was on it like a flash inside the area, curls one round Andre Onana. No chance for the United keeper, and it's the upright that keeps Manchester United level here at Wembley. Will they get another opportunity to keep City at bay? 25 minutes gone. We've had the woodwork rattled by James McAtee, and some nerve jangling defending from Manchester United. And it's Pep Guardiola's side that at this point in the game beginning to smell blood. Here's Onana with the lofted ball forward, tries to find Martinez at left back, but it's headed out of play eventually by Rico Lewis. Did well to read that one. Mainoo will Just let that one bounce behind. Just trying to take the sting out of things for United at the moment. They're trying to get a foothold in this game to give Manchester City something to think about. There's already been some movement down on that Manchester United substitutes bench. Players sent out to warm up. Erik ten Hag assessing his options. He's still got a good bit of time to go before the break, of course, but possibility for changes for United. Mainu wants to pick up that short goal kick from Onana on the edge of the box, but he's immediately harangued there by Nico O'Reilly. Tries to find a ball into midfield, but again it's the City press that wins back possession. Haaland gives it away though. Casemiro with the outside of the boot pass to find Marcus Rashford. He's drifted back into a left back position here, Rashford, and tried that quick switch over to the right hand side, helped on by Bruno Fernandes. Diallo will try and catch that, but is eventually hoofed away by Ederson. Evans will get there before Haaland though on halfway. Good response this from Manchester United to that post hitting from James McAtee. Here's Johnny Evans, just steps over the halfway line into the Manchester City half of the field, but again City with the press and United forced backwards. Here's Lisandro Martinez. Just a shortage of options for those United defenders, and Casemiro and Kobe Mainu when they get the ball. Rashford, Fernandes, Diallo and Mount not really offering. That's allowing Manchester City to just set them traps and try and spring Haaland, Bobb and Doku. Here's Harry Maguire, just takes a moment, studs on the ball on the halfway line, into Bruno Fernandes, gets on the swivel. It's immediately pounced on by Mateo Kovacic. Sharp play there from the Croatian, goes for caution, back to Ederson. A nervous one there from the Brazilian though. He tried to find Josko Gvardiol on the left hand touchline, and it's drifted out of play for a Manchester United throw-in. Midway inside the City half of the field, quickly taken into the feet of Casemiro. Now Mount, Diallo looks to go one-on-one with Josko Gvardiol, aiming for the dead ball line, but he's forced backwards. Now Casemiro, Diallo again, Mainu with the touch, cut out again by City. Haaland gets his body in there against Mainu, and City have got men over here as O'Reilly looks to charge through the middle. He was tugged back there, but he manages to keep possession. Bruno Fernandes with the tackle, and Fernandes with the second bite of the cherry wins the ball back for Manchester United. Haaland tried to live with him there, but he just couldn't quite win possession. Fernandes does well to advance through the middle of the pitch into the Manchester City half. A bit more open now as United start to ask a few questions of their own. Diallo darting forward, tries to get past Gvardiol, gets past Gvardiol, tried to steer that one across the 6-yard line. There's a cross shot from the Manchester United number 16. Didn't look confident in a finished effort there from him, but those bodies piling in. Marcus Rashford just under the watchful eye of Rico Lewis. It probably was an intended shot by Diallo, but it never really in a position to trouble Ederson. Best chance you'd probably chalk up as United's clearest opening in the first 30 minutes here at Wembley Stadium. They've been short on something in attack, and that speed from Diallo out wide will offer some hope for Erik ten Hag. Ederson to get us back underway here. Goes long this time. He had options to go short there. Akanji and Diaz showing for him, but he fires that one up to Haaland. Haaland with a poor first touch, and it's a good win there from Casemiro. Brave stuff from the Brazilian. Haaland was fired up to try and win that one back. He knew it was a poor piece of control, and Casemiro just put his body in the way there to make sure Manchester United come out on top. Casemiro again wants to dink that one forward down this left-hand channel for Marcus Rashford to run onto, but Akanji back to Ederson. Ruben Diaz on the edge of the Manchester City box with Josko Gvardiol for support. Manchester City now looking to maintain a bit of possession inside their half of the field. The better chances have gone to Pep Guardiola, but much like in the FA Cup final back in May, the cutting edge that they needed, just not quite there as it stands. Here's Jeremy Doku, got space to run into down the Manchester City left. On and on to try and face up with Diogo Dalot again. just steps back on the 18-yard line for City. Now Ruben Diaz well advanced midway inside the Manchester United half of the field. Akanji, again the City sky blue shirts flood forward, happy to pack themselves into United's half. Doku steps in off the touchline, nice ball into the feet of Haaland, but Johnny Evans goes to ground, gets there first. Good sharp defending there from the Northern Irishman. The City will come again it'll be Doku even, just buffeted off it there by Diogo Diallo. Bruno Fernandes thought about the big switch from the right-hand touchline into the box. It was only Mason Mount in there, and he was well covered by City defenders, and Manchester United burst forward here as Diallo cuts it across the 6-yard box, and that is an opportunity for Manchester United. Mason Mount caught in two minds as Diallo went through. Not a natural in those types of situations, of course, the former Chelsea man. You do get the sense that if he'd just thrown himself at that pass, he might have had enough to divert it past Ederson for a goal. It's that directness of Amad Diallo again causing a problem for Josko Gvardiol. I think Mason Mount just hesitated as the chance presented itself to him. He's put up a hand of apology to Fernandes and Amad Diallo afterwards, and Erik ten Hag with the rub of the face, he knows that was a good opportunity. So you know, Rasmus Højlund here today, he's set to miss the season kickoff next weekend. He won't be available until mid-September. Not quite as serious a situation as Lenny Yoro. A thigh injury in pre-season means that his campaign start will be delayed. More natural in that type of a position in the 6-yard box, the Danish international. Would he have dived at that one? You do think so. Mason Mount knows that when them opportunities come his way in that type of a position, he has to go for it. Really good play inside the 18-yard box. Casemiro with the layoff. Diallo just stepped away from Gvardiol and Ruben Diaz. Wasn't the clearest pass back to Mason Mount. The United number 7 just didn't anticipate it was going to come his way. That is a chance wasted for Manchester United. We're finally starting to see a bit of zip in this game from both sides. Crossfield pass over to Doku, just floats out of play for a Manchester United throw-in just inside their own half of the field. Diogo Diallo to come forward to take. 34 minutes gone here at Wembley Stadium on Flash Court. Manchester City 0, Manchester United 0. Rerun, of course, of the 2024 FA Cup final. Manchester United's 2-1 victory in that game has booked their spot here today. It also ensures that they'll be playing European football this season. Newcastle United, the ones to miss out. They will be in the Europa League group stages. Bruno Fernandes just tried to wind one up from distance there, and it's caught his Portuguese international Ruben Diaz right in the face. Spins up and into the gloves of Ederson eventually. Diaz is feeling the effects of that one. Stinger from Fernandes. It would have been going straight at Ederson if it had been on target. Diaz is back on his feet, quick drink of water. He should be okay to continue. Manchester City, of course, 4 Premier League titles in the row. They'll be in the Champions League this season. Newly formatted Champions League competition, of course. The Swiss-style league format gets underway in September. Just the 4 Premier League teams will be competing: Manchester City, Arsenal, Liverpool and Aston Villa. All of those games and the Europa League games will be available here on Flashcore UK. There's going to be an action-packed schedule 2024-25. Ruben Diaz back on his feet. Referee Jean Gillet happy that he's okay to continue after that ball-to-face incident from Bruno Fernandes. Interesting, not much of an apology from Fernandes after that one. It's a complete accident, but international teammates. He's a fierce competitor, Bruno Fernandes. Loose ball from United, eventually just gathered in by Johnny Evans on the edge of his own box. He'll go back to Andre Onana. Harry Maguire inside his own 18-yard box. Doku and Haaland slow to put the pressure on. Johnny Evans' ball out to Kobbie Mainoo is well taken in by the England international. It's been a hell of a 12 months for him, of course. From Manchester United academy player to first team start, Euro 2024 finalist with England as well. The interim Three Lions head coach Lee Carsley is in the crowd today. The FA confirming in midweek that he will take charge of the UEFA Nations League games on the schedule in September. There's another chance here for United as it builds forward, and it falls for Rashford on the left, and he curls that one past Ederson's post. Just bobbled as it fell to him. Rico Lewis caught ball washing there as he got sucked into the central area. Casemiro again with the layoff. And Rashford had the chance just to steer that one round Ederson. An untidy finish from Manchester United's number 10. He just couldn't quite get the purchase on it that he needed. And again, we're seeing a situation of possibly not a natural finisher in that type of a situation. Mason Mount just a few moments ago. Rashford now unable to get the curl on that one that he wanted. As we edge towards the half-time whistle, it's Manchester United with the greater impetus for a breakthrough goal. McAtee off the post for Manchester City in a handful of half chances for Pep Guardiola. But Mount and Rashford for United at the other end. He'll be leaving Erik ten Hag frustrated. That is, of course, unless we get ourselves a goal before the break. 38 minutes gone at Wembley Stadium. Still no goals in this annual season curtain raiser. Premier League action gets underway next weekend. Manchester United under the Friday night lights. They'll be the first team in action in the new season. From a Premier League perspective, they host Fulham at Old Trafford. Sunday afternoon showdown for Manchester City away at Chelsea. Can I just quickly run you through the fixtures on the calendar for the opening Premier League weekend of the season. So Friday the 16th, Manchester United against Fulham. That's an 8 PM kickoff. And on Saturday it's a 12:30 start for Ipswich Town, back in the Premier League after a long wait. They play host to Arnie Slot and Liverpool. In the 3 o'clock games, Arsenal at home to Wolves, Everton at home to Brighton, Newcastle hosts Southampton, obviously back in the top flight. Long trip for them on the opening weekend of the season. Nottingham Forest play host to Bournemouth, and then in the 5:30 game it is West Ham at home to Aston Villa. Sunday, as we mentioned, a 4:30 start at Stamford Bridge. Manchester City, the visitors for Enzo Maresca, and Brentford play host to local rivals Crystal Palace. That's the early game on Sunday with a 2 PM start. And then the third promoted side, Leicester City, in Monday night action. That's an 8 PM start against Ange Postecoglou and Tottenham. Here's Rico Lewis. Again, just forced backwards on the halfway line. Good press there from Lisandro Martinez, and then Rashford looks to put the pressure on Akanji. Eventually back to the feet of Ederson. Here's Akanji. Rico Lewis now deep back in that right back position. Fires it up towards the halfway line. Erling Haaland does well to take that one in, and O'Reilly will back him up for the 1-2. Good feet there from O'Reilly just to ease away from Mainoo, but Casemiro goes to the ground, concedes the throw in. No calmness about Nico O'Reilly. Certainly not fazed by the illustrious figures both in the dressing room and in the opposition today. Casemiro is still a fearsome operator to be coming up against, and as you'd expect from a player under the tutelage of Pep Guardiola, he's been cool, calm and collected. Here's McAtee, looking to sprint away down the left hand side. Jeremy Doku leaves him to it, now backs him up over on that corner of the 18-yard box. Doku will try and go one-on-one with Diallo again, into the feet of McAtee. Little twinkle toes there from Doku just to keep it away from Ahmed Diallo. 5 minutes before the break, are we going to see another opportunity for City or United before the whistle? Good hustle there from United to push City back onto the halfway line, but it's quickly recycled over to Doku, and McAtee will go beyond him on the overlap. Thought about the little dink into the box on the dead ball line, but he's eventually caught by Casemiro. Now Lewis swivels away inside the box, blocked by Maguire, cleared away by Harry Maguire. It wasn't pretty defending from the England centre-back, but it was necessary. Nico Lewis was buzzing around that loose ball. Maguire just launches it away. The referee now has halted play. Is he potentially taking a look at something inside the Manchester United box? I've mentioned before that we do have VAR on duty here. Jared Gillet's just whistled for a moment, and we are being shown a replay of this incident. Good play from Lewis as he stepped away from Kobe Mainu. Blocked there by Harry Maguire. Don't think there's any danger of a handball. I think eventually we're seeing now that the stoppage here is for an injury to Casemiro. There's 3 minutes to go before the end of regulation time here in the first half. Referees allowing for a quick drinks break here before the half-time interval. Pep Guardiola gathering his troops in. Casemiro just taking a little break of his own on the floor. He seems to be okay after that injury, after Maguire cleared up for Manchester United. Erik ten Hag also taking the chance to have a quick word with his team. It's a very, very hot day here at Wembley Stadium. Just checking the temperature, 28 degrees as it stands. Perfect summer weather. So you're not in action here for either Manchester City or Manchester United, but it's energy sapping. Despite the fact that we're almost at the half-time interval, Jared Gillet happy to just let the players get some fluids on, get themselves to the break. Guardiola and Ten Hag just ushering their players back out onto the field here. This potentially could impact how much added time we've got. Jared Gillet confirming that he did stop his watch for that little break. Casemiro's going to have to step off the field of play and come back on as per the injury protocol. Just getting ourselves a little look at the Manchester United bench. Former striker Ruud van Nistelrooy brought on board this season, the former Dutch international striker, real fans' favourite during his playing career at Manchester United, a certified Premier League goal scorer. It's a poor ball across the City defence from Manuel Akanji, almost made to pay for it, but it's Mateo Kovacic that gets there just before Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes thought about the foul as Kovacic marches through the middle of the pitch. He's got an option out wide if he can find Jeremy Doku. Finds Doku. He stands up. Diallo inside the box. Thought about the shot. Drives it just past the post from Doku. Now he's claiming for a corner there. The referee has signalled for a goal kick. Again, good feet from Doku. Just steps away from Diallo on the edge of the area. I think that does take a slight deflection off the sliding Manchester United number 16. I think Doku's got a case there. The referee waves that one away. The frustration there from the Belgian international. Gillet just telling him to calm down. Haven't seen any flashpoints so far in this Manchester derby, really. It's a fixture, of course, that you do associate with plenty of tackles. There's 3 bookings in the FA Cup final: Mainu, McTominay and Julian Alvarez. We know Julian Alvarez, of course, involved today. He's on his way to Atletico Madrid, the Argentina international, freshly back from winning the Copa America. He has kicked his last ball in Manchester blue. Guardiola confirming that he wanted a new challenge in his career, and that will take him to the Spanish capital. Just waiting to be updated on how much added time there'll be here at Wembley Stadium. There's going to be a free kick to United in the meantime. His left hand side, Bruno Fernandes will loft that one into the box, but it's behind eventually by Kobe Mainu. Just couldn't get his knee over that ball to volley it back into the Manchester City area. Just into the final few seconds of the first 45. Mateo Kovacic picks up possession from the short goal kick from Edison. Ruben Diaz now just stepping through the middle of the pitch for Manchester City. Thought about the ball forward, but he's just opted for safety there to Kovacic. And we'll have 2 additional minutes played here. Ruben Diaz again, just tries to fire that one cross field to James McAtee, which could be another Manchester United throw-in. Midway inside the City half on the right hand side from a United perspective. Diogo Dalot comes forward to take. Just toss that one back into Harry Maguire. United just looking to keep a bit of possession before the break here. Casemiro steps in on the halfway line to keep it going. Diallo eventually forced to just curl that one back to Maguire inside United's half of the field. England international again calling for options in front of him. He tries to pass that one through Haaland and McAtee, but it's again all the way back to Andre Onana. And we tick into the final seconds of this first half of the 2024-25 FA Community Shield. No goals, a few frizzes of excitement at both ends. James McAtee off the post for City. Big chances for Mason Mount and Marcus Rashford. The throw into City back inside their own half with Josko Gvardiol, Diaz, now Manuel Akanji. Pep Guardiola has already departed stage left. He's headed for the dressing rooms here at Wembley Stadium to prepare his
আউযুবিল্লাহি মিনাশ শাইতানির রাজিম বিসমিল্লাহির রহমানির রহিম। শ্রোতা বন্ধুরা, আপনারা সবাই কেমন আছেন? আশা করি সবাই ভালো আছেন। সবাইকে মন থেকে ভালোবাসা জানিয়ে আরেকবার যুক্ত হয়ে গেছি লাইভ স্ট্রিম আপডেটে। তো অবশ্যই আপনারা জানেন যে ম্যানচেস্টার ইউনাইটেড এবং ইউএস এর মধ্যকার ম্যানচেস্টার ইউনাইটেড এবং ইউএস এর মধ্যকার ম্যানচেস্টার ইউনাইটেড এবং ম্যানচেস্টার সিটি এই দুইটা দলের মধ্যকার যে খেলাটা হচ্ছে সেই খেলাটার এই লাইভ স্ট্রিম আপডেটটা কিন্তু আপনারা আমাদের এখান থেকে সুন্দর মতো করে উপভোগ করতেছেন। আমিও যতটুকু পারি আপনাদের কিন্তু সেটাই দেখানোর চেষ্টা করতেছি এবং আপনারাও কিন্তু আমাদের এখান থেকে সেই জিনিসটা উপভোগ করছেন। তো আপনাদেরকে একটা রিকোয়েস্ট করব, যদি নতুন দর্শক হয়ে থাকেন আপনি সবাই মিলে একটি করে লাইক করে দিয়েন, ঠিক আছে? একটি লাইক এবং সাবস্ক্রাইব বাটনটাতে হিট করে দিয়েন, যাতে করে আমাদের সাথে আর অনেকে যুক্ত হতে পারে। কোন দল জিততে পারে, যেহেতু এটা তাদের ওই অঞ্চলে একটা টুর্নামেন্টের ফাইনাল ম্যাচ, দুইটাই কিন্তু কাঠাম দল, মানে ইউকের যে আসলে টিমগুলো রয়েছে সেই টিমগুলোর মধ্যকার এরা কিন্তু আসলে খুবই পারফেক্ট দল এবং বড় দল। নিঃসন্দেহে এরা কিন্তু বড় দল, ছোট দল নয় শ্রোতা বন্ধুরা, এরা হচ্ছে বড় দল। তো বড় দলগুলোর মধ্যে এই দুইটা দল কিন্তু রয়েছে। তো সেই বড় দলগুলোর যেহেতু খেলা, সেখানে কারা জিতবে এটা বলা বড় মুশকিল। তবে আমি মনে করি যে একটা ভালো রেজাল্ট আসবে, নিঃসন্দেহে একটা ভালো রেজাল্ট আসবে, এটা কেউ অস্বীকার করতে পারবে না। কারণ দুই দলেরই কিন্তু সেরকম একটা গ্রহণযোগ্যতা আছে, ঠিক আছে? আমি আবার বলতেছি, গ্রহণযোগ্যতা আছে দুই দলেরই। তো সেই হিসাবে আমি মনে করি যে দুই দলেই চেষ্টা করবে। এখন পর্যন্ত কোনো দল অবশ্য গোলের দেখা পায়নি যেহেতু, তো আমি মনে করতেছি যে রেজাল্টটা আসলে এত সহজে আসবে না, যেহেতু ফাইনাল ম্যাচ। কেউ কাউকে ছেড়ে কথা বলবে বলে আমি অন্ততপক্ষে মনে করতেছি না। ফাইনাল ম্যাচ বলে কথা, ফাইনাল ম্যাচে সবাই একটু মানে অ্যাগ্রেসিভ মুডেই খেলার চেষ্টা করবে এবং যতটুকু পারে তারা কিন্তু সুন্দর একটা রেজাল্ট বা সুন্দর একটা ম্যাচ উপহার দেওয়ার চেষ্টা করবে বলে আমি মনে করি। যতটুকু আমার মনে হয়, আমার দৃষ্টিকোণ থেকে আমার মনে হয়, সেটা কিন্তু আমি আপনাদেরকে জানালাম। তো আপনাদের কি মনে হচ্ছে এই ম্যাচটি কতটুকু আসলে অ্যাগ্রেসিভ হবে, কতটুকু আসলে ওইভাবে আসলে অ্যাগ্রেসিভ ভাবে খেলতে পারবে? যদিও আমরা এখন পর্যন্ত দেখতে পাচ্ছি যে কোনো দলে গোল করতে পারেনি, হাফ টাইম প্রায় শেষের দিকে হচ্ছে, তারপরও কিন্তু কোনো দলেই এখন পর্যন্ত গোলের দেখা পায়নি। গোলের দেখা না পেলেও কিন্তু ম্যাচটাই কিন্তু খুব একটা ভালো পর্যায়ে আছে এই দল বা ওই দল, এরকমটাও বলার কোনো রকম সুযোগ নেই ভাই। দুই দলেই কিন্তু মোটামুটি এখন পর্যন্ত ভালো রেজাল্ট করেছে। কোনো দলেই এখন পর্যন্ত কারো বিপক্ষে খুব একটা আহামরি পারফরমেন্স করেছে সেটাও না। তো দুই দলে মোটামুটি একটা পারফরমেন্সে রয়েছে। সেই দৃষ্টিকোণ থেকে আমি আগাম প্রেডিকশন করতে পারতেছি না কোন দল জিতবে আর কোন দল হারবে। এটা বলা বড় মুশকিল, বলা বড় মুশকিল, যেহেতু আসলে দুই দলেই একটা গ্রহণযোগ্য বা দুই দলেই একটা গ্রহণযোগ্যতা দেখানোর চেষ্টা করতেছে, গ্রহণযোগ্য ম্যাচ উপহার দেওয়ার চেষ্টা করতেছে। সেই হিসেবে আমি মনে করি যে আগাম কোনো কিছু বলাটা অসম্ভব, একেবারেই অসম্ভব। তো আপনারা যারা নতুন যুক্ত আছেন সবাই একটু একটু করে লাইক করে দিবেন, পাশাপাশি সাবস্ক্রাইবটা করে না থাকলে সাবস্ক্রাইব বাটনটা তো হিট করে দিবেন। এতে করে হবে কি, নতুন নতুন লোকজন আমাদের সাথে যুক্ত হতে পারবে এবং তারাও সুন্দর মতো করে আপডেটগুলো আমাদের এখান থেকে নিতে পারবে। সো প্লিজ ডোন্ট ফরগেট লাইক অ্যান্ড সাবস্ক্রাইব আওয়ার চ্যানেল। সো দয়া করে সবাই লাইকগুলো করে দিবেন, পাশাপাশি সাবস্ক্রাইবটা করে না থাকলে সাবস্ক্রাইব বাটনটা তো হিট করে দিতেই পারেন, যাতে করে আমাদের সাথে আরো অনেকেই যুক্ত হতে পারে। তো আমি আর কথা বাড়াবো না শ্রোতা বন্ধুরা, আমি এখানে আর কথা বাড়াতে চাই না। তো যাই হোক, আমি আর এখানে কথা বাড়াতে চাই না শ্রোতা বন্ধুরা, আপনাদেরকে পূর্ণাঙ্গ ডিটেলস যতটুকু পারি আমি কিন্তু দেওয়ার চেষ্টা করতেছি, সরবরাহ করার চেষ্টা করতেছি, এবং আপনারাও কিন্তু আমাদের এখান থেকে যতটুকু পারেন সুন্দর আপডেটগুলো এখান থেকে নেওয়ার চেষ্টা করতেছেন। তো আপনাদের যদি কোনো রকম বিস্তারিত জানার থাকে বা কোনো রকম মন্তব্য জানার থাকে, তো আপনারা দ্বিধাবোধ না করে সবাই কিন্তু আমাদেরকে জানাবেন। আমিও যতটুকু পারি আপনাদেরকে চেষ্টা করব সেই ম্যাচগুলোর আপডেট দেওয়ার, যতটুকু পারি আমার সাধ্যমতো আমি চেষ্টা করব আপনাদেরকে আপডেট দেওয়ার। সো আপনাদের কাছে রিকোয়েস্ট যে কোনো প্রকার দ্বিধাবোধ না করে আপনারা সবাই কিন্তু আমাদেরকে জানাবেন যে আপনাদের মন্তব্যটা কি এবং আপনারা কি জানতে চান, ঠিক আছে, সেটা কিন্তু আপনারা অবশ্যই আমাদেরকে জানাই দিন। আমি অবশ্যই সেই অনুযায়ী আপনাদের কমেন্টসের রিপ্লাইগুলো ইনশাআল্লাহ দেওয়ার চেষ্টা করব। ইনশাআল্লাহ আমি আপনাদের রিপ্লাইগুলো দেওয়ার চেষ্টা করব শ্রোতা বন্ধুরা। আমি আর কথা না বাড়াই, শ্রোতা বন্ধুরা, যেহেতু আসলে ম্যাচটা কিছুক্ষণের মধ্যে শুরু হয়ে যাবে, 53 হয়ে গেছে আর প্রায় অল্প সময় বাকি রয়েছে, এরপরে কিন্তু খেলাটা, এই জমজমাট খেলাটা কিন্তু শুরু হয়ে যাবে। তো যেহেতু ম্যাচটাই শুরু হয়ে যাবে, তো সেক্ষেত্রে আর দ্বিধাবোধ না করে আমি মনে করি যে খেলায় ফিরে যাওয়া দরকার। আপনাদের যদি কোনো রকম মন্তব্য থাকে অবশ্যই কমেন্ট বক্সে জানাবেন। আর কোন দল জিতবে বলে মনে হচ্ছে আপনাদের? কোন দল জিতবে বলে মনে হচ্ছে আপনাদের? আমি কিন্তু কোনো রকম আইডিয়া করতে পারতেছি না, কারণ দুই দলেরই শক্তিমাত্রা কিন্তু সেম টু সেম এবং দুই দলেরই কিন্তু জয়ের সক্ষমতা রয়েছে এবং দুই দলেই কিন্তু জয়ের দাবিদার রাখে। দুই দলেই কিন্তু জয়ের দাবিদার রাখে, হিসাব করে দেখলে দুইটা দলেই কিন্তু জয়ের দাবিদার, এরাও ওরাও, অর্থাৎ আপনার দুই দলেই কিন্তু জয়ের দাবিদার, এটা কেউ অস্বীকার করতে পারবে না, কারণ তাদের যে পারফরমেন্স সেই হিসাবে দুইটা দলেই কিন্তু জয় করার সক্ষমতা রাখে। তো সেই দৃষ্টিকোণ থেকে আমি আগাম কোনো কিছু মন্তব্য করতে চাচ্ছি না যে এই দল জিতবে আবার ওই দল জিতবে, এটা বলা সম্ভব। তবে খেলার মধ্যে যারা একটু ভালো করবে আমার মনে হয় তারাই শেষ পর্যন্ত জয়লাভ করবে, কারণ আমরা দেখেছি বরাবরই এরকমটাই হয়ে থাকে যে যারা একটু ভালো পারফরমেন্স করে দিন শেষে তাদেরই জয় হয়। তো আমি আশা করব যারা শেষ পর্যন্ত ভালো খেলবে তারাই এখানে জয়লাভ করবে, যেটা আমি মনে করি। তো আপনাদের যদি কোনো রকম মন্তব্য থেকে থাকে তো আপনারা কিন্তু আমাদেরকে কমেন্ট বক্সে জানাই দিন, আমি চেষ্টা করবো আপনাদের কমেন্টসের রিপ্লাইগুলো দেওয়ার। ঠিক আছে, আমি চেষ্টা করবো আপনাদের কমেন্টসের রিপ্লাইগুলো দেওয়ার। তো আমি কিছুক্ষণের মধ্যেই নতুন লাইভ স্ট্রিম নিয়ে যুক্ত হচ্ছি শ্রোতা বন্ধুরা, যেটা উইমেন্সদের লাইভ স্ট্রিম আপডেট, ফাইনাল ম্যাচ অবশ্যই প্যারিস অলিম্পিকের, সেই ম্যাচ নিয়ে যুক্ত হব। আশা করি আপনারা সবাই আমাদের সাথে নতুন লাইভ স্ট্রিম আপডেটে যুক্ত হবেন এবং সেখানে আমাদের আপডেটগুলো সুন্দর মতো করে উপভোগ করবেন, এই আশা ব্যক্ত করে এখনকার মতো বিদায় নিচ্ছি। যদি আপনাদের কোনো মন্তব্য থাকে আমাদেরকে কমেন্ট বক্সে জানাবেন। আল্লাহ হাফেজ, টাটা, বাই বাই।